Hi, welcome to my channel. For today's recipe I'm going to take 5 sausages. You could either leave it this way or you could cut it into smaller pieces just the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to evenly be cutting the sausages at this length, as you can see. I finished cutting the sausages and it's going to look somewhat like this. After this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and finely chop some garlic and keep this aside. I'm now going to be adding the finely chopped garlic to it. After adding this finely chopped garlic, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this garlic and the sausages aside, and I'm going to add some oil to this pan. As you can see, I have now kept the sausages and the garlic aside, and now the pan is hot enough, so I'm going to add some oil to it. You can now evenly spread the oil across the pan. Now once the oil is hot enough, you can now add the sausages and the garlic to it. I'm not going to be frying it for too long, rather I'm just going to fry it for a little while. I'm going to see that these sausages do not become brown, so probably I'm just going to fry it say on medium flame for say 45 seconds to 1 minute itself. For 1 minute, as you can see, I'm now going to be removing the sausages and the garlic and just keeping it aside. You don't want to be finely chopping the onions, rather you want the onions to be cut this way. Now in the very same pan, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one large sized onion to it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fry this sliced large onion for a good say 3 to 4 minutes until the color of the onion changes. While I leave the onions to frying, I'm going to take 3 capsicums. I'm going to cut half of each of this capsicum. Though do remember, if you do not find the red and the yellow capsicum, green should suffice. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut half of each of this capsicum until the onions are fried well. You can be cutting the capsicums just exactly this way. As you can see here, the onions are almost done. It's been say 3.5 minutes right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and keep these onions aside along with the sausages and the garlic. It's been 4 minutes now. I'm now going to be shifting this to the sausages and the garlic. I'm now going to be putting the pan on once again. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the capsicum to this. You might now be wondering why I have not added the capsicums to the onions or to the sausages. The reason is the capsicums do have a tendency of letting out some water, which would say make the onions more mushy and soggy, which you really don't want it to be. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to just add the capsicum separately. Also, if you do fall short of oil itself, you could also add some oil just before adding the capsicums to it. After adding the capsicum, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just fry it for a while, not too long, only say for 2 to 3 minutes while the capsicum has become nice and soft. After it becomes nice and soft, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the onions and the sausages and the garlic immediately to it. On a side note, you could also optionally add some peas to it. I really don't prefer peas, but if you do prefer peas, you could go on and add some peas to it. After 2 minutes, I'm now going to be adding the onions, the garlic and the sausages which we had kept aside earlier. I'm now going to be mixing this really well. After mixing it for a good 15 seconds, I'm now going to be adding the salt as per taste to it. Along with the salt, I'm now going to be adding some pepper powder to it as well. After adding the salt and pepper for 15 seconds, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some garam masala powder to it as well. Along with the garam masala, I'm going to be adding some oregano to it here as well. Though do note, oregano is optional, but yes, it will really add to the taste of the dish. After adding this, I'm going to be mixing this really well. Do note, at this point of time, you could also add some cooked sweet corn to it. Once again, I do not prefer sweet corn to the dish, so I'm not adding sweet corn here. But then again, if you do prefer sweet corn, go ahead and throw in some sweet corn to it. I'm now going to be adding some szechuan chili garlic sauce to it. Though once again, if it's not available, you could just add some normal szechuan sauce to it. And yet, even if that's not available, you could just add some normal tomato ketchup to it. That would just do fine. I'm now going to be adding some cheesy chipotle sauce. You can find this in any Indian supermarket. Lastly, the dish is almost ready. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to add a dash of lime juice to it. You can now switch off the flame and the dish is ready to be served. What you can now do is you could add this to some boiled noodles. It will taste fantastic with it, or you could just have it with some chapati or roti, or you could just have it individually without either of them. So if you did like the content of this video, it would be really helpful and really appreciate it if you could like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.